Welcome to Stay Sparked. This is a Sparkle Snack, a short bite-sized conversation aimed to light up your world today. I am Betsy Finkelhu.
And I am John Halcyon Stin.
We always start with gratitude, and I will share my gratitude is for the simplicity of clean water. I'm feeling extra hydrated and extra grateful to be able to have such delicious clean water from a local company.
I am feeling grateful for the cooler weather. I have become a little bit of a delicate flower from years in San Diego, and so I am so grateful that the weather outside is more attuned to my comfort zone.
All right. Well, here we are in Asheville preparing for the cold snaps to start to come too. So, yep. Well, we want to give a little shout out to our sponsors, Lucid, a mushroom nootropics drink that has either coffee, matcha, or a nighttime beverage that is just really wonderfully delicious and great for you. So, big shout out to Lucid, becomelucid.com if you want to try it out.
Betsy and I have been fans of Lucid for many, many, many months, over a year. And so we are very excited and proud that they are one of the sponsors of the show. Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh.
So today's topic is about learning new things or embracing beginner's mind. And this is topical for me because I am neck deep in learning a new thing. I joined the Wholehearted Chorus 4 months ago and have been practicing, and it has not been easy. I have a story. It's even hard for me to say a story because I have struggled to remember lyrics. You know, I like singing. I do an improv song every morning on my broadcast, but I can't do it wrong because I'm just making it up as I go. Once there's a right way and a wrong way to do it, it sets me up for one of my traumatic issues of if I do things wrong, then, love will be withheld. And that's a much longer episode about early trauma and stuff, but that is one of my things. So I actively decided I am going to do this thing knowing that it's going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to have this tightening in my chest. I'm going to have the shame feeling. And so I actually early in the process there, after like a month of practices, there was a night when I had a men's group and a choir practice the same night. And I was really struggling, like, which one should I do? I mean, they're both good for me. And if I just go towards what feels good, men's group for sure, because chorus is so uncomfortable. And then I remembered the lessons of the men's groups that I've been going to, which is growth is towards discomfort. So I made the choice to actively court the discomfort. And I'm so glad I did. Oh my gosh. I finally turned a corner just like a week ago where I was at a chorus or practice, and for the first time I was singing and knew the songs well enough that I was feeling the connection of this, 80 people all singing together and this harmony. And I wasn't in my head. I was in this like body embodiment of music. And I was like, whoa, oh my gosh, it's happening. It's happening. I mean, it was, but I couldn't have got there without the struggle. And I can't figure out how many things I have not learned to do because of that fear.
Yes, it's so humbling. So humbling. And I hear that you went through the stage of being a beginner and then crossed over into someone who is no longer a beginner because you've been practicing. And it is so applicable to so many different things, like riding a bike, for example. Not knowing how to ride a bike is so uncomfortable and so scary and so intimidating and so full of risk, that you could just plummet. And you have to really get through those first stages of learning in order to be able to get to that place of feeling so free and liberated to be able to ride a bike on your own, or learning an instrument. I've also gone through that similar thing with learning instruments, and they teach me so much. It's so uncomfortable to not know how to play. And so I've been playing the native flute for some years now. I was gifted one many years ago. Thank you, Mario. He kind of just gave me this flute, and I was horrible, not good at all. And so for a long time, I didn't play it because I just did not want to hear what it sounded like when I was playing it so horribly. I took a few lessons, I was not getting it, so I just really started to avoid it. And then I kept seeing this instrument and I knew I wanted to play it. And so I leaned in and I just kept playing and I committed to myself to play often, even if it sounded bad. And I committed to learning some scales and starting to explore what it is to actually get the fingering right and that sort of thing. And then, same with you, one day I got to a place of going, whoa, that actually sounded kind of good. Wow, I might actually feel comfortable to play in front of someone. And now I've gotten to a place where I feel really comfortable playing it. I'm by no means like professional or gonna play in big crowds or anything like that, but I feel so grateful that I've transcended that initial stage of feeling so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then and recognizing having that beginner's mind oftentimes is so humbling.
Yeah. And I think it's funny you're talking about flutes because that is an instrument that I had a desire to try and learn. And just recently, I was at an event where someone was selling flutes and they were like, come play with them, come play with them. And I stared at this table, walked around the table, and because I didn't make the commitment, I didn't summon enough courage. I never tried it. Actually, I may have picked it up and the first note I made wasn't great, and I got flooded with that feeling, and because I hadn't prepared myself in advance, my defense mechanism kicked in, which is like, avoid that feeling, and I booked. And so, that's kind of what I've had to try to do with the chorus is before practice saying, "You're gonna have that feeling tonight." You're gonna have that tightening, you're gonna have that shamey, that physical sensation that you dislike, but let's knowingly go into this knowing it's gonna happen instead of subconsciously fleeing from that potential feeling, which is what I usually let take over and keep me from those steps, those beginner steps.
Yeah, so powerful to have that much self-awareness
Ugh.
and to recognize the work is the discomfort, to really lean in and just keep exploring something. And then I feel sparked on this idea of the beginner's mind and humility to one on the one hand, what we're talking about is being humbled by not being good at something or being incompetent until we get to that place of feeling confident. And then the other flip side of it is continuing to remain humble and continuing to maintain a beginner's mind even when we become a master at something. And so if you are a master um, at facilitating because you facilitated, 10,000 hours, but still continuing to show up to every group from that beginner's mind and staying humble and staying centered. I think that that is such a valuable gift that you can give in whatever it is that you're doing, staying in that beginner's mind and not transcending the ego in that sort of way.
It's funny, I feel like younger me had more confidence and had less doubt, and as I've grown, I'm more aware of my own limitations, and I I recently led an event and had a little feeling like I something wasn't just right. Like I feel like I didn't do a good job, and there was somebody in the group in the event that I knew was very skilled and very experienced, and it took me about 5 days before I reached out and said, "Would you talk with me about what I could do better?" Because I was scared. I wasn't confident enough. I was afraid of that feeling like I suck, and I didn't want to, like. But of course, talking it through, I ended the conversation feeling like, "Oh, it didn't go as bad as I thought, and I have some real clarity on some things I could do better next time." And man, that process is like the secret code to life. if you're afraid of learning what you could do better, which I often am, you are stunting your potential so dramatically.
Absolutely. Yeah, to be able to be willing to see ourselves in a place of growth. I feel like after every experience, whether that is a group facilitation or a talk or something that I'm putting out, I always try to consider the highlights, like the wins, and then also the growth points. And I think that that's such a wonderful place to consider how can I actually refine and learn and grow? Not what didn't work, but
Mhm.
more what's the growth point?
But totally. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that, I had some early experiences where some things came easy to me and then had identity wrapped up in success or doing well. And so then anything where I did not do well quickly became something I would quit, and it's I'm really trying to embrace in my 50s returning to this beginner's mind and really trying to consciously choose those discomfort, knowing that uh there's so much joy on the other side of those discomforts. And I should say, like my hump that I got over with singing wasn't to a point where I'm now a beautiful voice in the choir. It's that it was over the hump of the discomfort of uncertainty, you know? And and yeah, there's so and then there's getting to like the joy is in the doing, not in the success, which is another huge shift uh that is possible if you can embrace beginner's mind. And then you can be proud, "Oh, I did it. I showed up," which is how I got through all those early practices. People like, "Hey, how was choir practice?" I was like, "I got credit. I showed up."
I did it.
I did it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I've been there before too, where I'm like, wow, that didn't go so well, but you know what? I did it. I did
Yeah.
the thing, even though it was really scary and my voice might have cracked, but I did the thing. And here we are on this podcast. This is a perfect example. We didn't really know what we were doing when we first got started. And it's like, well, let's just try it. Let's
Mhm.
come with a beginner's mind and let's explore what it is to get together and record and see what kind of things we can explore with this common theme of inspiration. And I feel like if we would have held ourselves back, then we wouldn't have recorded all these episodes. And so
I
I'm
know.
so grateful
Yeah.
that we have had the courage to lean into a beginner's mind and try something new and to be in this place where we get to keep sharing these sparks.
Yay. I mean, it's really, like, I guess my closing spark on this is around this this ability to embrace beginner's mind, to the see the possibility of growth instead of what went wrong is the cheat code to the life of your dreams. I'm been coaching a young man who has been really focused on finding his person. And throughout the couple years we've been working together, there have been these moments where he thought he was so into somebody, and we continually go back to that place of the victory here is in you asking, the in time you will be able to see that if it doesn't work out, then it is exactly the learning and the stepping stool and the classroom you need to be more equipped and better suited for when the right person comes. And so after doing this a couple times, it's so wonderful to witness his perspective and being able to see these past experiences that were so scary and to have so much gratitude for them as learning experiences to get to where he is now, which is badass.
Yes, that's awesome. Oh, well, my closing spark is really about cultivating a beginner's mind in regular day-to-day life. And I feel one of the best teachings that I've received is through meditation. And in my training is the Vipassana meditation. And what the training is that we go through these different self awareness practices. And the first one is really focusing on the sensation around the nostrils and the upper lip as you breathe. It's so simple and so basic. It's a basic technique, And then you evolve to being able to scan your entire body. But this beginner practice is the thing that I always come back to. Continue to practice. It's such a simple practice. Same thing with the scale, to keep coming back to the scale. Even once you start learning more and more songs, musicians will continue to come back and practice the scale because it is what informs that beginner's mind and keeps us humble and keeps us integrated. And so I'm loving this conversation and probably going to go play some scales after this, maybe focus on my breath. So thank you so much for this.
Yeah. There's a song that we're singing in the performance, the choir performance called Humble that is running through my head right now. Humble yourself to the side of your brother. You gotta bend down low and humble yourself in the side of your sister. Ask them what they know and we shall learn. Okay, that's enough.
Woo!
Yeah.
Thank you. So beautiful. A testament that you are beyond your beginner. Well, in the spirit of just staying inspired, you guys can reach out to us. Please do. We love hearing from our listeners on the Instagram channel, Stay Sparked, and then also Apple Podcasts. Your reviews are so helpful. Thank you so much for just taking a moment to just pop some stars on there and a little message. It helps spread the spark far and wide. So thank you all so much. And also, if you want to find us to work with us directly, learn more about John's men's work and so many of the other beautiful offerings he has, lifestudent.com.
And if you would like to see me sing, I'm singing with the Wholehearted Chorus on Tuesday, October 14th in San Diego.
Ooh, amazing. Great. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, find my products at poweraffirmation.com. You can get in touch with me there through the different modalities as well that I offer in person in Asheville, also in San Diego a couple of times a year. So please do reach out. Always love hearing from you.
You are so inspiring, Betsy. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, let's close it out with an affirmation, shall we? All right. A short and sweet, sparkling affirmation is I stay humble as I live life. I stay humble as I live my life. I stay humble as I live my life with a beginner's mind. I stay humble as I live my life with a beginner's mind. I stay humble and as I live my life with a beginner's mind. I hope this episode inspired y'all. Thank you so much for listening.
Stay sparked, people.
Find us on Instagram at Stay Sparked and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts.
Thanks so much for helping us spread these sparks.
Stay sparked, friends.